ವೆದರ್ ನಮ್ಗೆ ಸಿಕ್ಕಿರೋದು ತುಂಬ ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿದೆ. ದಿಸ್ ಅ ವೆರಿ ನೈಸ್ ವೆದರ್. ತುಂಬ ಚಳಿನೂ ಇಲ್ಲ, ತುಂಬ ಬಿಸಿಲು ಇಲ್ಲ. ಬಿಸಿಲು ಆಗುತ್ತೆ ಆದರೆ ಅಷ್ಟೇನೂ ಆಗೋದಿಲ್ಲ, ಆದರೆ ಚಳಿ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಆಚೆ ಬರೋಕ್ಕಾಗಲ್ಲ. 4 ಡಿಗ್ರೀಸ್ 5 ಡಿಗ್ರೀಸ್ ಏಪ್ರಿಲಲ್ಲಿ ಹಿಂಗಿತ್ತು. ಸೊ ಇಟ್ಸ್ ಅ ಬ್ಯೂಟಿಫುಲ್ ವೆದರ್. ಇವತ್ತು ವಿ ಆರ್ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟಿಂಗ್ ಅ ಟೂರ್. ವಿ ಆರ್ ಗೋಯಿಂಗ್ ಇನ್ ಟು ಲಂಡನ್ ಸಿಟಿ ಅಗೇನ್ ಫಾರ್ ಅ ಸಿಟಿ ಟೂರ್ ಆಫ್ ಲಂಡನ್. ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್ ಥಿಂಗ್ ಅಂದರೆ ದೆನ್ ಬಿಗ್ ಬೆನ್ ಇದೆಲ್ಲ ನೆನ್ನೆ ನೋಡಿದ್ದೆ. ವಿತ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪ್ಲನೇಷನ್ ಗೈಡ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪ್ಲೈನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇರ್ತಾರೆ. ವಿ ವಿಲ್ ಸಿ ಆಲ್ ದೀಸ್ ಪ್ಲೇಸಸ್. ಬಕಿಂಗ್ಹ್ಯಾಮ್ ಪ್ಯಾಲೇಸು ಹೋಗ್ತೀನಿ ಸರ್. ನೋಡ್ತೀನಿ, ಒಂದು ಬೋನಸ್ ಪ್ಲಾನ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೀನಿ. ಇಟ್ ಡಿಪೆಂಡ್ಸ್ ಆನ್ ಟೈಮ್. ಎಸ್, ಇವಾಗ ಹೇಳಲ್ಲ. So all these places of major important places of London, we'll be visiting them. And then in the afternoon we will have lunch. Bangalore Express anta ಒಂದು restaurant ಅಲ್ಲಿ we'll have lunch. Then in the after lunch we will go to Madame Tussauds Wax Museum. ಎಷ್ಟು ಜನ ಕೇಳಿದ್ದೀರಾ Madame Tussauds Wax Museum? Yes. ಸೊ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಮೋದಿ ಮೀಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು, ರಿತಿಕ್ ರೋಷನ್ ಮೀಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು, ಐಶ್ವರ್ಯ ರಾಯ್ನ ಮೀಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು, ಶಾರುಖ್ ಖಾನ್ ಮೀಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು. ಸೊ ಸುಮಾರು ಜನ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ. ಕ್ವೀನ್ ಎಲಿಜಬೆತ್ ಇನ್ನು ಯಾರೋ ಮೀಟ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು, ಅಪಾಯಿಂಟ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ರು, ಅವ್ರನ್ನೂ ಮೀಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು.
Asking about breakfast. That's the show. Sounds anything you want. No. The guide said we could only have bread, butter, and this. Yeah, that's in some hotels. This one you'll find.
I made a mistake. I said it for about 15 minutes today. Because it was a long flight yesterday. Yeah. 36 hours.
No, that's fair enough. I was helping out. That's what I'm there for, you know.
I'm just going to announce the name. We'll have an formal introductory round later. But for me to understand who is who, I associate names with faces. So let me try and guess it right. No. You don't have to say yes, sir. No. And for me to understand who is along with whom, so that from Paris onwards, I'll put you all together in one room. So okay, I'll go name wise, yeah? Prasad sir, Chitra madam is the one in the last. I'll try and figure it out, yeah? Sir, him karadnala. One minute. Rudrappa Gowda, sir. Okay, so as per my understanding, Mr. Agarwal family won together. Okay, then it is Krishna Basappa sir, Rudrappa sir, ಮತ್ತು ರಂಗಸ್ವಾಮಯ್ಯ ಸರ್. ನೀವು 3 ಜನ ಒಂದು ಬ್ಲಾಕ್. ಅದಾದ್ಮೇಲೆ ಹನುಮಂತರಾವ್ ಸರ್, ಓಕೆ ಮಾಧವನ್ ಸರ್ ಮತ್ತೆ ಶ್ಯಾಮ್ ಸುಂದರ್ ಸರ್ ಅವರು. ಆಮೇಲೆ ಇನ್ನೂ ಯಾರು? ಕೆನಿ you've got confirmation the restaurant manager. So confirmation of only one. He doesn't have confirmation for 2 groups. You can understand what it is. Adjusted.
Two-wheeler, only taxi. No scooter, motorcycle.
I'm outside. I'm outside.
ಎಲ್ಲ ರೇಟ್ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಇದೆ ಆದರೆ ಎಲ್ಲ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು
Iqbal,
ಅಪ್ಪ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಎಂತ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು
Iqbal said he will talk to Pooja. Iqbal also was there yesterday. He said he'll talk to Queen Pooja and sort things out. Talk to Iqbal also for this. You know Disney Club? Yeah. From Shakir. Oh, okay. No problem. Ciao.
ಪ್ಯಾರಿಸ್ ಇದೆ
We'll soon know in the morning. We'll know in the morning, won't we?
Sir. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಲಂಡನ್ನಲ್ಲಿ ಟ್ರಾಫಿಕ್ ಇರೋದು ಯಾರು ಬಂದು ನಿಂತ್ಕೊಂಡು
Yeah, you're right. It says it on one vehicle coaches as well.
ಪ್ಯಾರಿಸ್ ಇಂದ ರಾಂಗ್ ಡಿಸ್ಟೆನ್ಸ್ ಹೋಗ್ಬೇಕು ಅದೆಲ್ಲ ಮಾಡೋದು. Traffic near the GE building. I'll be there 9:15. Oh, okay, John. Thank you. This is Ape Travels White Coach. Sure, John. Bye. See you soon. Tony, what church is this?
Honestly, don't know, mate. Couldn't tell you. I said it was Christian church.
Yeah.
I don't know which one. Oh, St Paul's.
St. Paul's?
St Paul's.
Carried out the research.
If you don't get your money back, it's not worth doing. Plus, my kids get drinking it. I've got cans of Coke if you want a can of Coke.
Sorry?
I've got a can of Coke if it's you that wants a drink. In the fridge there, you can get yourself a can of Coke. You work with Joe?
Yeah, probably Joe also.
Yeah. There's quite a few of them on here, Ron.
Worked with Ron also, I think. Ron is the tall, heavy one.
Well, he's quite shorter than me. He's older than me. Yeah, he's alright. That's it, we should be alright. It shouldn't be too bad for me. Old enough to ride a bike, that one.
Sorry?
The girl beside us, I said, you look old enough to ride a bike.
Our children come there, then will say no.
This is the only part of London really that causes you problems. The roads aren't wide enough for coaches and like cars, and they'll always try and come up the side here, like this one here. They come up the side here, and the vehicles aren't wide enough, you know. But if I can do it, I always do, you know. I'm always one that will try and fit it in. But it's all about timings, you know. If I always say, if you make that extra time during the day, so say you came out of Madam Two-Seat up somewhere else you could go. Do you see where I'm coming from? But the problem is with these vehicles, is they're all fitted on tracker. I did do one vehicle, I didn't have a tracker on it. I was going here, there and everywhere. And I didn't care where we went. I think it wasn't, I think it might have been actually the one we saw in the hotel. I kept saying about we were going to go to, I know it wasn't, it was the old boy, it was the old one. I was kept offering to do more, and he didn't want to do it. I was going to go Kew Gardens, we started driving around towards there. We were doing everything. He was going nuts at me because I was just driving. Passengers were loving it, we were going everywhere. He just wanted to go back to the hotel. He's like, no, let's just go back to the hotel. Yeah, but let's have a look at this first. Coaches turn up, one of them's not going to be very happy, or the other coach company won't be very happy if he sees me loading up. Do you know what I mean? Because I start loading up early, you know. I'll get up, I'll be downstairs for 7 o'clock, I'll go and have a quick coffee, and then I'm straight loading up. The lucky Jessie comes down, and then they go off and have their breakfast. You know, it makes life so much easier for everyone. The guys know where their luggage is while they go off and have their breakfast. To some pancakes. I've never done it. I've never gone to some pancakes and drink. You know, I know where it is. I've just never done the, you know, never picked up or dropped off there. Yeah.
Tomorrow it's an unfortunate thing. I'm inside Paris on Friday evening.
How long does it take on the Eurostar to get to
2 hours.
So you'll be there quite early,
Yeah.
in Paris.
11:55, 1:55. Continental Europe is 2:55.
Is that, you'll be there at 2:55.
55. Europe is 10.
That's not too bad then. And you won't.
Not too bad, yeah.
And you say you won't. You certainly do get some. It's a bit upsetting for the passengers, really, more than anything. Well, I mean, it's good for a coach driver because they get on the bus quicker. When you find when it's sunshine, they get off. When it's raining, they just get on. They don't want to get off.
Yeah, yes. Okay, we have reached our place. ಇವಾಗ ರಾಯಲ್ ಆಲ್ಬರ್ಟ್ ಹಾಲ್ ಹತ್ರ ನಾವು ಸ್ಟಾಪ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ನಮ್ಮ ಗೈಡನ್ನು ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಮೀಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ. ಅಷ್ಟರಲ್ಲಿ ಲೆಫ್ಟ್ ಹ್ಯಾಂಡ್ ಸೈಡ್ ಇದೆಯಲ್ಲ, ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಲೆಫ್ಟ್ ಹ್ಯಾಂಡ್ ಸೈಡಲ್ಲಿ ಆಲ್ಬರ್ಟ್ ಮೆಮೋರಿಯಲ್ ಅಂತಿದೆ. ಆಲ್ಬರ್ಟ್ ಮೆಮೋರಿಯಲ್ ಇಲ್ಲಿ 5 minutes ಸ್ಟಾಪ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ರೋಡ್ ಕ್ರಾಸ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಡಿ, ಇಲ್ಲೇ ನಿಂತ್ಕೊಂಡು ಯು ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಟೇಕ್ ಫೋಟೋಗ್ರಾಫ್ಸ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ದೆನ್ ಕಮ್ ಬ್ಯಾಕ್.
They're not just London rich. People from a lot of countries that might be having economic problems or political problems, they see London as a good place to put some of their money. And they buy property in the smart areas like this. Even businessmen who don't have any business in London buy houses in London. And the people who have houses here have also got places in New York, Middle East as well. But people from countries like Egypt, Libya and Russia and Ukraine and Turkey, you know, all those sort of countries. Spain, Italy, Portugal. I think everybody's having some problems one way or another. And so London, you see, we're not expecting a revolution tomorrow, and we're not on the euro. You know, the European currency. We've got our own currency. And we've got a pretty good economy. So everybody wants to be here. It's a good place to be. But it pushes prices up. So ordinary Londoners can't afford to live around here. Are you rich tourists? Do you want to buy a place here?
Moderate.
Moderate rich tourists. That sounds pretty rich to me. There's a lot of the richest French people live in London. Do you see the French flag? You got the French school here. They call this little area Little France because we don't tax them so much in this country. So all the richest people from Paris live in London, and they can get to Paris in no time. You get on the Eurostar, 2 hours 40 minutes. Paris has become commuter land for London. You see? So all the richest French people are here. This little bit is known as South Kensington, and you've got the museums. So just past the Natural History Museum, the Science Museum. This building now on our left, this is the Victoria and Albert Museum. So if you came back for a week, you could spend all your time in these 3 places. And they're free of charge, most unusual in the world. If you go to the Louvre, You pay 16 euros to go in. But these great museums here in London, free of charge. Come back to London, save money. You know? Then you can spend it in the shops. Yeah? Or buy a property here. Come back every time. The most expensive house in London was just near where you were taking your photographs. £250 million. Imagine? And a car parking space was sold nearby for £400,000. Does that sound pretty amazing? Is that affordable for moderately rich tourists?
Impossible.
It's expensive even for moderately rich.
Malya can buy it.
What may be the cost of a double bedroom in an apartment here?
Oh, double bedroom? Depends on how big. Big enough to put a bed in it? or if you stand up, have a look on the right. Do you see some of the international brands? So when you've saved all that money, this is the place to spend it. You know? Look at the stores. Do you know Mulberry handbags, ladies? Mulberry leather handbags? And England is still known for English gentlemen's shoes. So there's one of the good brands on the right. Crockett & Jones or Churches. They'll be nice to take back. But most famous of all is this huge store here with the flags on the right hand side with the green awnings. Harrods. Have you heard of this place? Yeah, world famous. Harrods or Horrids. They're so huge, they have their own underground railway in the basement, moving their stuff around. Their food hall, one of the sights of London. The pet department used to be legendary, you know. Now there are restrictions on what you can keep as a pet. But they used to have a lion here. They obviously didn't sell it very quickly because he was famous at Harrods. And at night, he sometimes escaped. So where do you think? And he used to rip up the skins of the deer and the antelope. You know? So that's where they always found him. They pride themselves on being able to get you anything you could want. So President Reagan of the United States, this is some years ago, he wanted blue jelly beans, you know, because when anybody would walk into the Oval Office of the White House, they would see on his desk a glass jar containing red, white and blue jelly beans. And it's very difficult to get blue food, but they managed to get it at Harrods, blue jelly beans. So they can get you anything you could want. Somebody wanted to get President Reagan an unusual and unforgettable present. You do with an elephant. It's a bigger problem than getting one. And they've got a lovely cafe up at the top. I once had a tour where I had to take some ladies shopping. And then come along here later in the day and you'll see all these huge black limousines outside round the back streets, because those are the chauffeurs who've dropped the shoppers off and are waiting to pick them up again. You certainly see some very fancy cars around. This is the area known as Niles, and it was had won some famous races, and it had got a parking ticket. Can you imagine? It's bright yellow. This is especially bad, mind. But are you familiar with this kind of traffic problems back in India?
Of course, in Bangalore.
You have this problem?
More than this.
More than this?
Yeah.
You're sounding like Americans. We have much bigger traffic jams.
What's the government see in Bangalore?
Oh,
Realize.
but do you get taxed to enjoy this? We get taxed for enjoying this traffic. Maybe not. Maybe. Okay, well maybe we don't need to do an excursion down. Hey guys, there's the McLaren showroom on the left. I can see one of their racing cars up on the side. Can you see it? Just behind that blue bus. Have a look to the left. Can you see it? It's a bit dark. There's probably a black one in there. There you go. Send it back in a container. This is the Rolex. And the road on the right leads down to Chelsea. A very exclusive area again. And then the store that you see on the right, Harvey Nichols, is perhaps even more exclusive than Harrods. Harrods is better known to tourists, but Harvey Nichols is more exclusive. And this is the French embassy just ahead and on the left beyond the traffic lights, and you'll get a glimpse of Hyde Park. So from Kensington Palace, which is you just walk through Kensington Gardens, becomes Hyde Park, and then you get to Hyde Park Corner, which is ahead of us, and you cross over the road, you're in Green Park. You can go horse riding, there are stables. They sometimes put up big screens and broadcast live performances from the Royal Albert Hall where you were taking your photographs. That's a magnificent thing. So you can go out on a lovely summer's evening, have a picnic, risk the rain. It doesn't really rain in London. It's all sunshine. I think we might... Oh, it's a tunnel over, it's not...
No, since you can go down there, but it's,
Are you okay with it?
width restriction is only 7.6, so I can't.
We had a,
Width restriction on it.
yeah, I had a VM coach and they squeezed down it a little bit. Guys, what do you... So, this is Hyde Park Corner, isn't that exciting? Duke of Wellington's house on the left. Statue of the Duke of Wellington, the Triumphal Arch. I can see India Gates more clearly now. Through the trees. Some lovely jubbly. There you go. San Francisco. Hard Rock Cafe, Montreal. But the t-shirt that everybody wants is the Hard Rock London t-shirt. Because this was the very first in the world. And around the walls of the restaurant, it's a burger restaurant, you've got rock instruments and memorabilia of famous pop stars, rock stars. And so if you go and eat there, you can have a look around the walls. And everybody wants to get the t-shirt. A couple of years ago I did a tour for some Italian teenagers. And, you know, they're not a nightmare. They were not interested in anything. You know, I took them to Buckingham Palace, they didn't care. Trafalgar Square didn't mean anything to them. But all they wanted to do was to come to the Hard Rock Cafe for their t-shirts. So, there you go. So if you want to take something back that will impress the stylish youngsters, the Hard Rock Cafe. Almost as good as getting an I Love London t-shirt. Have you got those yet? Are you going to Paris?
Yeah.
Well, you need an I Love London t-shirt, you know? They'll all love you over there. Or honey mangoes, something like that. We pay a fortune for those now in London. I paid £1 for a mango the other day. So you come over, bring a box of mangoes, make a profit, I'd buy them off you. Then you buy an I Love London t-shirt, you take it to Paris and you sell one there. You get a miniature Eiffel Tower, take it to Rome and sell it there. You make a profit. Buy more mangoes, make a circuit. Next time, yeah. On the right here, this is the Ritz. This is one of our top 5-star hotels. So when you come back, this will be a nice place to stay. This is the place best known for afternoon tea. So if you want the truly English experience, that's the place to come. Of course, you're paying for it a lot. The bottom of this road on the right, where the clock is, that's where Prince Charles lives, St. James's Palace. And have a look to the left. Look at this road over here, look at the shopping on the left. Isn't that fantastic? Keep looking left. You'll see a marvellous arcade. This is Burlington Arcade. Do you see it on the left? Look, 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 look. Makes spending money a pleasure. And here, this used to be a family home. Do you see this on the left? Used to belong to the Cavendish family. Now the Royal Academy of Arts. Now, have you got your cameras out, guys? Because we're about to arrive at one of the big tourist hotspots. Tourist heaven. This is Piccadilly Circus. This is in all the brochures. The most iconic of London statues, the statue of Eros, balancing on the toes of one foot, having fired his arrow. Nobody in the world will know where you are. And they say that if you stand at the statue long enough, everybody you've ever known in the world will come by. Because any tourist coming to London comes to Piccadilly Circus. And it's the great meeting point. If you meet somebody in some remote with the green flags on the right, lily whites, that's the famous sports shop. So that's the place to come for your Manchester United soccer tops. Any football fans? Manchester United, usually there's a few kids. Cricket fans. Well, this is where the Indian cricket team get their cricket bats from. You know? We know we're famous for our cricket bats. Lily White's is the shop. And then this is the statue of Eros, balancing on the toes of one foot. The tourists haven't really woken up yet. There's a few. And the road on our left, Shaftesbury Avenue, known for theatres. Keep looking right. You see the store here, Tourist Heaven. This is the shop where you can get anything a tourist needs. This is where you can get your I Love London t-shirts in any size imaginable. Little Britannia. And then as we take the turn, if you look left where the trees are, that's Leicester Square. That's where the cinemas are. So this is like the bright lights. This is where everybody comes to, especially in the evening. It's really packed with teenagers from every corner of the world. And they're all looking for excitement and for action. You've got the theatres here, the cinemas, the pubs and the clubs. So it's a magnet. A lot of people come to London just to do the theatre. I mean, lots of Americans who would be here for a week and they'd do the theatre every night. And it's cheaper than Broadway. And they say they're saving money. And so you've got plenty of theatre. So two of our theatres just here, where the scaffolding is on the right, this is Her Majesty's, and this is where Phantom of the Opera has been playing. 25 years, pretty amazing. I think we can make it down the Strand and back.
I can't believe how clear that's been.
Yeah, that's pretty fantastic. Okay, so let's head down the Strand and then we'll come back and do it. Okay, guys, so we're about to arrive in Trafalgar Square. Trafalgar Square, another big hotspot. People used to come here to feed the birds, the London pigeons. You know, it used to be famous for that, like Mary Poppins. And there used to be a seed cellar, and at a huge price, he would sell you a little cup of seed. And you'd put it in your hand, and the pigeons would land on your head, they'd run down your arm, they'd eat out of your hand, and then when they were finished, they'd do their droppings all over you. But tourists used to like that, you know? But then there was... so, that looks like it's going to be tonight, doesn't it? Looks like they're preparing for tonight. And, of course, the square is dominated by the statue of Lord Nelson on top of his column. So Lord Nelson was the greatest of English heroes, because he saved England from invasion by Napoleon. You see, in 1805, so this was before he was defeated by... But Lord Nelson, by destroying Napoleon's warships... Shall we go down the Strand and we'll come back?
Strand's over there, isn't it?
Yeah, yes, Strand.
Yeah. Well, I can't go straight across, that's TFL.
No, that's what I mean, you have to turn to the left.
I have to go up to there and then turn right.
Yeah.
Sorry, you confused me there.
You were heading... Yeah, you were heading down towards Northumberland Avenue.
Oh, no, I was keeping in the second lane so I could
Walk
come
with
over to
Okay,
the
fine.
right.
Lovely. Okay, so Lord Nelson saved England. It wasn't for Lord Nelson, who, by destroying Napoleon's warships, prevented the invasion, we'd be speaking French today. I can't speak French. Can you speak French?
No.
So we've all got something to be grateful to Lord Nelson for, haven't we? It'd be in big trouble. Unfortunately, he was killed during the battle. He was shot by a sniper. He's buried in St. Paul's. but he's celebrated with his statue on top of his column. So that's why the square is called Trafalgar Square after the battle, and Lord Nelson is on top of his column. So it's the big navy thing. So we'll come back. Railway termini stations is on the right. There you go, can you see it there? And on the left, just beyond the traffic lights, there's a bank, a very exclusive bank. You've got to have a lot of money for them to be even interested in taking it. You know? The Queen banks with this bank. This is Coots. Very exclusive. This is Coots here on the left. With the flag. This is the Queen's bankers. And then, do you see the number 15 bus on the right? This is the old-fashioned type of London bus. Do you see it? On the right, the old-fashioned one.
Something you don't see.
Number 15. There's only one route on which those buses still run. Through the heart of tourist London. It's because tourists complained when they were taken out of use, tourists complained that this is what we came to London to see. The old-fashioned bus with the open platform at the back. That type of bus is known as a route master.
They're now trying to do that to a lot of the new ones. I think.
So
Go back to the
so what they've done is they've brought them back onto one route, so that for no more than the normal price of a bus ride, you can travel in a historic bus. Which is, these buses are not more than 60 years old now.
These buses?
Those old buses, yeah. 60 years old. They were celebrating their 60th birthday. I think it was last year. And the area on our left, again, is still theatre land. So this road used to be known for lots of theatres, and there's still a few of them here. And as I said, lots of people come to London just to do the theatre. That area on our left is Covent Garden, and this is where the theatres have been since the 17th century. So some of the theatres still go back that far. And now more theatres. Do you see the Lion King on the left? The next road along has got Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, which is always popular. That's our oldest functioning bit. So if you get into the right hand lane, you can go right past the Indian High Commission. Yeah. Right, and you'll see on the right hand side the Indian flag. This is the Indian High Commission over here, India House. And then we're going to be looping around and back down the Strand.
Back down, yeah.
Okay, so here it is. Can you see it? Usually there's a line outside, all the people have lost their passports. But that would never happen to Thomas Cook people. You're well informed as to the pitfalls, eh? So this is it. This is India House here on the right. And where the Indian Finance Minister went to the London School of Economics.
Yes,
Yeah, am I correct?
Yeah.
Mick Jagger of the Rolling Stones. Yeah, the pop group went here. This is on the left hand side, this is the Royal Air Force Church. And inside they have memorials to the Air Forces of the Commonwealth countries. Notably the Indian Air Force has a memorial tablet on the floor of that church. So here we go, and looping around again. Bush House is where General de Gaulle made a famous broadcast during World War II in 1940, when France fell to the Germans. But he was in London. He said France has fallen and is occupied, but the fight continues from London. That was a very historic speech, and that was from here. I broadcast from here once, guys. You might not realise it, we've got quite a famous tour guide. I'll give you my autograph later. Now, this is the only bridge in London which has not needed major repairs since World War II. There you go. Another one of our top hotels on the left hand side, the Savoy. So this will be a nice place for you to stay when you come back. Isn't that nice? Art Deco style. Again, another 5-star hotel. Dumbledore used to stay there, Richard Harris. So if you're Harry Potter fans, want to impress anybody, Dumbledore, the first Harry Potter, Dumbledore, he used to stay in the hotel. He used to drink in this pub on the left, the Coal Hole. In fact, I think he used to drink too much because he's dead now. Richard Harris was known for his wild living and getting drunk all the time. And then here on the right, do you see the shop? Stanley Gibbons. This is the famous stamp collector's shop. And you know the royal family, over generations, have been big stamp collectors. So can you see the badge next to Stanley Gibbons' name? That's the Queen's warrant. So that tells you the Queen gets her stamps at Stanley Gibbons. Which is pretty amazing, because whenever we buy stamps here, it's all got the Queen's head on it. We all buy the Queen's stamps, she buys her stamps at Stanley Gibbons. So, any stamp collectors? I don't know if many people do that anymore. I don't. Oh, your son does. Well, that's amazing because. Yep. Some people say ground zero in London. That's the main point. So, we've got statues of British generals associated with India. You can't see it from here, but there's General Napier on that side and General Havelock on this side. I believe there's an island in the Indian Ocean, Havelock Island, part of the Andaman. So that's him. Okay? The guy on the horse behind is King George IV. He's the guy who built Buckingham Palace. All the French kids hang around. Here we go, these guys today are the Blues and Royals. Prince Harry's regiment. And I can see them on the right hand side. There's not too many tourists bothering them today. And they're sitting on their horses outside an army building. It's called Horse Guards. So it's on the right hand side. I love the sign, it says, "Beware, horses bite and kick." Wouldn't that be great to see? Here we go, we're going nice and slowly. Tony's doing a really nice job at going nice and slow. There you go, on the right hand side now. This is Horse Guards, the Blues and Royals Regiment. Well, keep looking right because we'll be passing Downing Street shortly. Downing Street is where the Prime Minister lives and works, at number 10. You know our present Prime Minister? David Cameron? Yeah. And so, it's got high security, so we're not able to go down the street. Can you see it on the right, where the black railings are? That's Downing Street. And as we go past, look down the street, and on the right hand side, middle of the row, a dirty black looking building, that's number 10. Usually there's a policeman standing outside the door. In fact, there's a whole host of people outside the door. I can see them now. That's number 10 Downing Street.
Number 10 Downing Street.
The building now on our right, this is the Foreign Office, our main war memorial in the middle of the road. And beyond it, the building on the right, in its basement it has Winston Churchill's wartime headquarters, now open as a museum. So it's, when you go inside, it's like stepping back into World War II. The maps are still on the walls, the telephones are there. You can see Churchill's desk and his bed, because he used to sleep down there as well. You can see his ashtray. Big Ben is technically only the bell inside the tower, but everybody calls it Big Ben, don't they? And the building is early 19th century, dating from the 1840s and 1850s. The old palace was burned down in a big fire in 1834. So this is a Victorian purpose-built replacement building to house Parliament. So this is our Parliament building. And in the square you have statues, mostly of great British Prime Ministers. Just beyond the traffic lights, Winston Churchill, put up in 1974 on his 100th birthday. But there are some exceptions. Notably, we've got a statue of Gandhi, which was put up just in this last year. So the Gandhi, the Indian statesman. In fact, we have 3 statues of Gandhi in London. Very popular here. So again, another big tourist hotspot destination. So the House of Parliament from the 19th century on the left, Big Ben. Ahead of us on the right, we'll be passing it shortly, the great Royal Church, which is Westminster Abbey. That's where kings and queens are crowned. So that's where the Queen was crowned in 1953. It's where William and Kate were married. So I'm sure many of you would have seen that on television. It's where Princess Diana's funeral service took place. So there you go on the left, Big Ben, guys. The House of Commons section next to it. And then I can see the group of tourists there in the square on the right. They're just next to Gandhi statue. You can see Gandhi to the right of that small group of tourists. They look like Americans, don't they? And then Westminster Abbey on our left, the big church. And this is where, if you come back, I would put this on the top of your list of things to see and do. Visit Westminster Abbey. Look at the line of people going in, guys. Westminster Abbey. This is where many of the medieval kings and queens are buried, like Henry V, as in Shakespeare. Of Tower Bridge, which is the famous bridge. That's the one that everybody thinks of when they think of London. You'll be amazed how many people call it London Bridge. But in fact, it's Tower Bridge. So you now know more than 99% of visitors to London. You know? And by going over London Bridge, we'll be able to see Tower Bridge to the right of us. Tower Bridge is the one that opens in the middle to allow big ships to come through. It was built in 1894, so it's a little over 100 years old. And it's the great landmark bridge. Still opens about 4 times a day to allow those bigger ships through. It doesn't open at a fixed time. If you've got a large ship, you need to arrange before you come the time that you will be there, the time you need the bridge to open. So this is the ancient road. All along here were the coaching inns for the stagecoaches going to different parts of the southern England. Have a look to the right. This is one of those old inns which survived. Do you see it from the arch? These feature in Dickens's stories. The George featured in Dickens's book. There's the Shah, tallest building in Europe. And as we go over the bridge, you'll get views of other big offices as well.
There are a lot of Thomas in the collectors.
Yeah, so you're big on. Oh, right, guys, right. Oh, it's okay. We've got to now start looking right. This is London Bridge.
London Bridge.
The great financial city of London on the opposite side. You'll see the warship HMS Belfast, a museum ship. And look to the right, and you'll see Tower Bridge. There it is. There's Tower Bridge, and a visiting cruise ship. Isn't that fantastic? Wow. And then next to Tower Bridge on the left is the Tower of London, the great castle, which goes back 1,000 years. That's where Henry VIII used to keep his wives when he was finished with them. That's where the crown jewels are kept. That's where the Koh-i-Noor is, part of the crown jewel. Lady with a nice handbag. You know, if you lock your wife up in the Tower of London, you don't want her getting out again.
London Bridge.
So that's where they got the chop as well. This is London Bridge. And the River Thames. Can you see the River Thames is tidal? It's low tide at the moment. Can you see the green line on the bank? That's how high the water gets at high tide.
ಬನ್ನಿ ಹೊರಗಡೆ ಬಂದು
How much? We bought it quite cheap. We bought it about a month ago. 68, 65 pounds. No, that was for the. No, it's 130. Yeah, 130 pounds. So it's 65 pounds. It would have been like how we translated this. Yeah. This trip is 140. Yeah.
Oh, it's last minute, isn't it?
Yeah. So, how long are you in? You say just a week from Hong Kong? So you're in a week in Europe, yeah? Oh, really? What do you do? Are you do you work in Hong Kong? Yeah. What do you do? I'm going to in January.
Eiffel Gates tell you about Louis XIV, the Sun King's victories, and two other ones tell you about Napoleon Bonaparte's victories. A lot of restaurants, a lot of cafes around this area. You know, normally, let me tell you something, French ladies do not have something very substantial at midday, you know, for lunch, or something very light, like some salad for instance. You know, the main substantial meal in France is in the evening with the family. And the meal lasts an hour and a half, 2 hours. Ready, Lyonnais, they're all here very near the Opera House. Metro station, you know, the metro, you call metro, the underground is called metro, metropolitan. The underground starts running at around 5:30 in the morning, and they run till about 2 o'clock in the morning. It depends at weekends. The underground runs really late. So in a few minutes we're going to show you the Opera House. So look here at the right hand side, a very important landmark in Paris, the Opera House. Look, such a... Get your camera ready. We cannot get up the bus, ladies and gentlemen, but get your camera ready. You can click a quick photo of the Opera of Paris. Look, the official name of the building, the National Academy of Music. You can see the bus on the facade of the opera. Those buses represent French, German, Austrian musicians. Behind the opera, there are those big department stores like Galeries Lafayette, Printemps department stores. You know, the steps of the opera mean a good meeting point for people who live in Paris and for tourists as well. We're driving slowly. Look, by the way, whatever you can see on the roof, ladies and gentlemen, is not solid gold. We are not in India. It's not solid gold. It's gold plated. We're already very pleased. Opera House. And for a good seat to the opera, you should pay something like 160, 170, 170 euro for a good seat to the opera. You see, the opera was built in the second part of the 19th century when Napoleon III was the Emperor of France. On the right hand side, Café de la Paix. Look, the green canopy. Café de la Paix is one of the best cafes in Paris. For a cup of coffee, you should calculate about 9 euro. Not expensive, is it? No, sugar included, ladies and gentlemen, sugar included. So among all these highlights of the French capital, please, family, listen, something very important. You're driving slowly. On the left-hand side, you will see something very important. Exactly. Isn't it beautiful? So this is Opera Avenue. It leads you from the Opera House down to the Louvre Museum. See, one of the very rare avenues, no trees. Banks, you see, headquarters of different banks. On the right-hand side, Brentanos. Brentanos is one of the 6 English bookshops in Paris. Brentanos. Beautiful wrought iron balconies. Parts of these buildings are really residential buildings. Do you know Starbucks Cafe? They're doing very, very well in France, in Europe, in India. Starbucks on the left-hand side. Exactly. So behind you, the Opera House, in front of you, try to preserve the harmonious aspect of our city. So basically, high buildings are outside Paris. There's just one office building in the French capital, Montparnasse Tower. Some people think it was a mistake, but for the rest, this is the typical image of Paris. All these buildings date back from the end of the 19th century, and all these buildings look alike. Please, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to show you the National Theatre. Keep on watching on the left-hand side, behind the trees. La Comédie Française, the National Theatre, the very theatre where people speak the most perfect French. And we're driving slowly. National Theatre. Behind the trees, there is a subway entrance you cannot see. Can you see on the left-hand side silver, red, blue colors?
ಎಲ್ಲ ಸೀಟ್ನಾಗ ಕುತ್ಕೊಂಡ್ಬಿಟ್ಟಾರಲ್ಲ ಆಲ್ರೆಡಿ ಇವಾಗ ಬಿಡ್ತಾರೆ ಯಾರು ಬಿಡಲ್ಲ ಕಣ ಅದು ವಾಟರ್ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಆಗಿರ್ತದೆ ಫ್ಲೈಟಿಗೆ ಆ ಬ್ರಿಡ್ಜ್ ತಗಲ್ತದಂತ ಮೇಲೆ
Devant vous, le char modern style d'une structure métallique habillée de sculptures 1900 de pierre et de bronze. Ce pont fut dédié à l'alliance franco-russe.
The Pont Alexandre III, the modern style charm of a metallic structure adorned with stone and bronze sculptures. The bridge was dedicated to the Franco-Russian alliance.
Frente a ustedes se puede apreciar el encanto del estilo moderno de una estructura metálica. Este puente, dedicado a la alianza franco-rusa, fue finalizado en el año 1900.
Ponte Alessandro III. Davanti a voi il fascino di una struttura metallica abbellita da sculture in pietra e in bronzo in stile Novecento. Questo ponte fu dedicato all'alleanza franco-russa.
亚历山大三世桥，它的现代风格极富魅力。金属桥身装饰着1900年的石雕和青铜雕塑，它是为纪念法俄结盟而建造的。
Here, let me take a picture of you. Yes, Thank you. Wow.
Put your hand down.
Hey,
Just the left.
Just a little.
Make your hand flatter.
Put it up just a tiny. There we go.
Left.